Hi students, today in this video we are going to see operating system concepts. We have n number of concepts for our operating system, but here you can see some important concepts like process, memory, files, deadlocks, input output, security, this cell. Like that we have some important concepts and we will see one by one. First one is process. Process is nothing but program in execution. Here you can see. So this is the actual definition, program in execution. That means a program which is executed currently under the execution. That is only process. For example, suppose if you are doing some task, some job in your computer, then that is only process. For example, suppose if you are opening one file, one folder, then that is one process. If you are closing one file, then that is one process. If you are deleting one file, then that is one process. So each and everything which you are doing in your computer, that is only process. Next, you can see some details about process here. So here you can see operating system only responsible for our process. That operating system can start and stop the process. Like starting and stopping the process, that operating system can suspend the process also. That operating system can also suspend the process. And if operating system suspend the process, then that must be restarted in exactly same state. That means from the suspended state, that process need to be restarted, and all information about the process is stored. That is called process table. Here you can see process table. Here in this process table you can see all information about the process. A suspended process consists of its address space, usually called core image, and its process table entry contains registers. That means by using registers and address space, a suspended process can be restarted. For restarting a suspended process, we are using address space and registers. There you can see some data which is used for restarting the suspended process. So next one, command interpreter or cell. Here command interpreter means a tool to get commands from the user and executes. So it is only called as shell. Again I am saying command interpreter means a tool which is used to get the commands from the user. From the user it will get the command, and based on that command it will do some process. For each and everything we have command in our operating system. As I told you already, for opening one file we have command. For closing the file we have command. For deleting the data we have command. For each and everything we have command. But here command interpreter means a software or tool which is used for getting that command and execute that command. So that is only given here. A process called command interpreter or cell read the command from a terminal. So it's used to read the commands from the terminal. Actually, who will give the command? A user. A computer user only will give the command. And that command will be read and executed by this terminal. Tool. So that is only command interpreter or cell. Simply we can say it as it is a tool to get the commands from the user. So next one, child process. Child process means suppose one process creates some other process, then that new process is called as child process. A process can create any number of new process. That new process is child process to parent one. The next one, inter-process communication. Inter-process communication means communication between two processes. Communication with another one or communication between two processes, that is only inter-process communication. Next one, process tree. You see this diagram. Here we have n number of processes named as A, B, C, D, E, F, and process A creates two more processes called B and C, and process B creates three processes named as D, E, F. So just by seeing this image itself, we can say process B and C is the child process to process A, and at the same time D, E, F child to process B. So this is only the relationship between the process. This diagram, process tree, is used to illustrate the relationship between the process. The next one, alarm signal. Each process will take some time to execute the task or for the completion. Suppose if that process takes too much time, then one alarm signal will be given to that process to indicate that that process taking too much time. That is only given here. You read this paragraph. When the specified number of seconds has elapsed, the operating system sends an alarm signal to the process. That means this process taking too much time for the execution to complete one particular task, this process taking too much time, so that operating system send signal, alarm signal to that process. This signal causes the process to temporarily suspend whatever it was doing, save its registers on the stacks. That means after the signal, that process will be suspended temporarily. That process will be suspended temporarily, and that data will be saved on the stacks and start running special signal handling procedures. Here next three things are used for authentication purpose. For allowing only authenticated users to access all the files, these three things are used. So for example, user ID and password is given to allow only authorized person. Like that we have group ID. By using that group ID, only one particular group of people are allowed to access one particular files or datas. And then we have one more thing, that is a super user. That means a user who have all the power. They can do anything with that data. That is only super user. So all these things are used for security purpose. Next one, very important concepts of operating system is deadlock. Here you can see deadlock. Here you can see definition. That is when two or more processes are interacting, they can sometimes get themselves into stalemate situation. They cannot get out of such situation is called deadlock. So here stalemate means, in chess game, stalemate means there is no other further move. That is resulting in a draw. There is no other further move resulting in a draw. So that kind of situation will occur here in our computer. That is only called as deadlock. We will see another definition for deadlock. That is, each process is waiting for another resources which is used by other process. Again I am saying, listen carefully. Each process is waiting for another resources which is used by other resources. This situation is called as deadlock. Here I give you one example, one diagram, so that easily you can understand. Here you see. So this is the diagram which is used to illustrate the concept of deadlock. Here you can see two processes, process 1 and process 2, and we have two resources called resource 1 and resource 2. Process 1 uses resource 1 and process 1 need resource 2 for the completion. At the same time, resource 2 used by process 2, but process 2 need resource 1 for the completion. Try to understand the concept. Process 1 will be completed only when process 1 gets resource 2, but resource 2 used by process 2, and process 2 will completed only when process 2 gets resource 1, but unfortunately resource 1 used by process 1. So this situation is called deadlock. Now in this situation, both process 1 and process 2 cannot be completed because both processes need some resources which are used by some other process. Here you can see the example for deadlock. Imagine a computer with tape drive and CD recorder. That means we have two resources, tape drive and CD recorded. Two processes each need to produce CD-ROM from data on a tape. That means two processes each need to produce a CD-ROM from data on a tape. Process 1 request and it's granted the tape drive. That means process 1 uses tape drive, process 2 request and it is granted a CD recorder. That means process 2 uses CD recorder. Finally, process 2 requests the tape drive and it is also suspended because process 1 already has it. That means now process 2 request for resource 1, but resource 1 is used by process 1, so it is suspended and we have a deadlock from which there is no escape. So since each process need resources which are used by some other process, deadlock occurs here. So that is only given here in this diagram. We have two processes and two resources. Each process need some other resources which are used by some other process. So process 1 need resource 2, but resource 2 used by process 2, and process 2 need resource 1, but resource 1 used by process 1. So now process 1 and process 2 cannot be completed because both need some resources. So this situation only called as deadlock. I hope you can understand. Next one, memory management. Every program, every process uses main memory during the process execution to store the process status, data, result. That process uses main memory. And we have two important concepts here, like a simple operating system and a sophisticated operating system. Simple operating system means very simple one. There each program will be executed one by one. That is one program at a time in memory. That means only one process will use that main memory in one particular time. But in next one, second category, sophisticated operating system, multiple programs will use that memory in one particular time. So that is only difference here. Only one process will use that memory, then that means simple operating system. If multiple process uses that main memory, then that is sophisticated operating system. So next one, input output devices. Here we have n number of input output devices like keyboard, monitor, printer, scanner. Like that we have n number of input output devices. To handle that input output devices, our operating system is used. That is only given here. Next one, files. Operating system is responsible for creating, removing, reading, writing files. Files means that is nothing but collection of records, you know very well. To access that file, our operating system is used. Then next one, directory. So directory, that is one location that is used for keeping the files. To provide a place to keep files, most operating systems have the concept of a directory as a way of grouping files into single place. So we can call it as a place to keep files or grouping files into single place. Then next one, path, name and root directory. Here you can see this example enough to understand this concept. So this is only path. Inside the students, Leo directory is there, inside that paper, and then after that some file is there. So this is only path. This path used to mention the location. By using this path we can access one particular file, and here root directory is students. So that is the starting place. That's why we are calling it as root directory. It is also called as top directory. Next one is file descriptor. This is nothing but a number for each file. A number given for each file for better access. Each process will use the file based on this number, or each process will access the file by using this number. So simply we can say it as file number. File number, a number given for file. That is only file descriptor. So next one, mounted the file system. Mounted file system means attaching some files with another file or another directory. Here you can see one directory called A, B, C, D, and from floppy we have files XY. These things, files XY, are attached to directory B. You can see that thing here in this image. XY from floppy disk are attached now with the directory B. So that is only mounted. Mounted file system means attaching the files in one particular directory. Next one is a special file. Here special files means accessing input output device as files. Here you can see input output devices look like files. That means accessing input output devices as files. We can write the data from input output devices using these concepts. Here two things are important, that is blocks files and character files. Block files means accessing the data as blocks. Accessing the data as blocks. And character files means accessing the data as character. Character by character we need to access the data. Here for blocks files, example is disks. When you are handling data in disk, that data will be treated as blocks. And in here you can see example, that is a printer. When we are handling the printer, data are treated as character. That means data are printed as characters. Next concept is pipe. Here pipe is a technique which is used for inter-process communication. Here in this diagram you can see two process A and B. Between that two process, pipe is used for communication, inter-process communication. So pipe is a technology which is used for IPC, inter-process communication. The next one, security. As I told you already, in our operating system we have n number of concepts for our security, like allowing only authenticated person and using many protection. Like that we have n number of security based concepts. In that the main thing is these three things. There is one for owner, one for another member of owner group, one for everyone else. That means that you can see three category, that is owner, member of group and everyone else. So here for owner we can give full authority, and here for member of group only one particular authority will be given, and remaining people only limited authority will be given. That is only you can see here in this table. Owner, that means that owner can read, write and execute the data, execute the file. And the next one, group member. Group member can read and execute the file. Remaining everyone else can execute only. So only the owner can write or modify the data. Next topic is shell. Actually we have seen this topic already as command interpreter. Command interpreter, that is only shell. So command interpreter or shell, whatever it is, that is a tool which is used to get the command from the user to execute some task. We are getting some command. To get that command we need to use some tool. That tool only called as shell. Here in shell we have two types. Before that we will see the definition. Shell provides you the interface to the operating system. That means a interface to the operating system. That means it is used to get the data or command from the user to the operating system. And as I told you already, we have two types here, a command line interface or graphical user interface. Command line interface or graphical user interface. Here command line interface means as a command we need to type the command, and based on that command the process will be executed. And the next one, graphical user interface, means here we need not to type any command. Simply by using mouse button click process we can do anything. Here you can see the example for command line interface. Here I am using command date. When I am giving this command date, I can get the answer like this. So this is only command line interface. I need to give this command in the command interpreter. For that only the tool using, shell tool used. So I need to give command like this. For each and every operation we have commands. As a user we should know that commands name for doing the operation. But graphical user interface is very simple and need not to worry about all the commands. Simply by using mouse button clicking process we can do each and everything. For example, suppose here you can see this icon. If I am clicking this icon, this file will be closed. So this is the icon used to close the file. So this is only graphical user interface. Like this I can do any operation simply by using mouse. So that's all about shell. Next one, system call. System call, it is nothing but calling the functions of operating system. the interface between a process and operating system. Interface between the process and operating system. And here you can see calling the functions of operating system. That means in our operating system we have some functions, like functions in programming language. Actually, operating system itself, some coding. We have some coding called functions in that operating system, and we can able to access that specific part of code called functions. That is only system call. You just consider functions, function concept in programming language. In programming language like C, C++, Java, we have a function. To access that specific function, we need to call that function. Like that only here in our operating system, we are calling that function specifically. That calling the function only called as system calls. You see this diagram, we have that function, operating system function in kernel mode, and that function will be called from user mode. So from the user side, we are calling that special functions of operating system. That calling process called as system call. So user process executing gets system call executed, written from system call. That means a process will execute that function of operating system in kernel mode, and after the execution it will come out of kernel mode to the user mode. So this is only system call. Simply we can say it as calling the functions of operating system. The next one, types of system calls. Here you can see some types like process control, file management, device management, information maintenance, and communication. So these things are used for some specific purpose. Process control, that is used for creating the process or terminating the process. Like that, file management is also used for creating or manipulating the files, and device management used for manipulating the devices. Like that only, information maintenance is used for transferring the data between operating system and programs. And communication, that means inter-process communication. Here you can see 5 types: process control, file management, device management, information maintenance, and communication. So these things are nothing but some types of system calls. Now can you say what is system calls? System calls means functions of operating system. That means we have separate code for process control, separate code for file management, separate code for device management, separate code for information maintenance, separate code for communication. We have separate code on this category. So that is only system calls. So these are the functions: fork, exit, wait, open, read, write, close. So these are the functions which are related to these things. To control the process, we have fork, exit, wait. Fork means that is used for creating the process. This function, fork function, is used for creating the process. Like that, exit function used for exit the process. So for each and every operation we have some function. Calling that function called as system call. So here also you can see the example, and then you can see the explanation for that example. I hope you can understand this concept. System call means nothing but calling the functions of operating system. In our operating system, for all these things, we have some code, that is function. Calling that function only system call. That's it. Thank you.